Okay, now that we have the layers created for both our overlay and also for our shadow, we're going to take layer 2, which is going to be our shadow. It should be the silhouette, the black silhouette that is behind or underneath layer 0. So what we're going to do, there's two things you have to do for a shadow. Number one, you have to change the shape of it to be a shadow. It's going to be flattened, and it's going to appear that it has a sense of depth to it because it's going to converge, lines are going to converge, and things are going to get tapered. We're also going to be changing it from being solid black to a gradient, and it's going to be a black to transparent gradient to make it look softer and more realistic like a shadow. So you're going to make sure you're on layer 2 highlighted in the layers window. You're going to go to Image, Transform, go to Distort. You see a normal bounding box, but with this bounding box you can actually move each of the corners independently. So we're making sort of a trapezoidal form, if that's a word, and you're also going to drag it off to the side. So it creates almost like a trapezoid parallelogram sort of shape, and it's really for your taste. You know, if you find that it looks better on the left-hand side or on the right-hand side, pay attention to how it's also attached to your form. Now, some students who have a cropped image, or if they have an image with more than one contact spaces, in other words, the place where the actual figure is touching the shadow, there's going to be different issues to deal with, so it'll be a case-by-case basis. So that looks pretty good from my end, and I'm going to say, okay, I'm going to commit to that. Now, if I wanted this image to appear that it's jumping, I'm going to have to remove the shadow, move the shadow away from the form. This shadow is creating an illusion. The shadow form is creating the illusion of being cast onto a picture plane, onto a plane, the ground. So if I move the shadow down away from the figure, it looks like, you know, where this is the ground, it looks as though the figure is off the ground. So I kind of like that. I'm going to keep it. Now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to take this layer 2, this form, this image, and we are going to change it to a gradient. You're going to hover over layer 2 in the thumbnail window, and you see the little pointed finger. You're going to hold down the command button, and it changes to a pointed finger with a dotted square in front of it, and you're going to click. You see that there's marching ants around that. It selected everything from that layer, and I'm going to hit delete, and the delete will make the black go away. It'll make what's inside disappear, but you're still left with that selection. I'm going to go to the gradient tool, and I'm going to go to the presets by clicking on that arrow, and I'm going to select the second one. The second one is foreground to transparent. If you find that it doesn't look black to transparent, it's because the foreground color wasn't black. Now I'm going to change the foreground color just to a random color for a second, just to show you. So if you go to the second one, the second preset, and it's a color to transparent, it's got to be black. So I just want to change this color to black. And you'll see that that preset will change for you. Another thing you're going to do is you're going to change the opacity up on top to about 40. That will allow it to be a little softer. Now I'm going to drag a line. You guys remember how to use the opacity tool. I'm going to start at the point that is closest to my figure, and I'm going to go back, or in our case, away. So you usually start off where the feet are, and you're going to go back by the head. And I'm going to let go. So you can see there's a little subtle shadow. You can apply it, since the opacity is set low, you can apply it a couple of times, and each time it'll get darker. And you do it until you're happy with the results, and you hit the escape key, the marching ants disappear, and you're left with that nice shadow.